Amazing to see how many people turned out. Edward Aten is a tech startup CEO who helped his wife actually organize the San Francisco March for Our Lives rally over the weekend. Thank you so much, Edward, for joining us today. I understand you're actually the person who first put up the post on social media about the event right after Parkland. What made you and your wife decide to support this movement?
Yeah, I think like a lot of people, when the initial tragedy happened, we were really upset and sad. But I think the next day, when we saw these kids that should have been at home grieving or with their church community or loved ones, that they felt like they had to be on TV to demand someone do something to protect them. Candidly, it made me feel ashamed. I'm an adult. I'm an active member of society. I'm a voter. But here we are, all these years after Columbine, all these years after Sandy Hook, and it's happening again. And just felt like we had to do something to get involved to make a change. And when we saw that there was no event in San Francisco, really it was just the spark that caught fire as we started with one little post, and within a few days, 25,000 people has RSVP'd. We realized had to put this thing together. So my wife and a bunch of volunteers jumped in and actually made this big event happen.
Did you think it would get this big?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah, I think this is an issue that people are really passionate about, and they felt like they've been forced to silence by the overall dialogue. And I think that when you see how quickly people got involved, RSVP'd, showed up, not just in San Francisco, but around the country, even in red states, this is something that people are really passionate about, that they know the dialogue needs to change. So I actually wasn't surprised. I was really happy and enthused with the event and turnout.
What are some of the goals of this, and do you see some of those things actually coming to fruition, coming into play after this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first goal for me was to support these students from Parkland and in the Bay Area overall. They need to have a voice, and they should have a voice, because this is an important issue that's directly affecting them. So that was the first goal. The second goal was to, again, change the dialogue. Fox News over the weekend put out a poll of registered voters that 91% of Americans support universal background checks. 60% of registered voters in America, that's 120 million people, support an assault weapons ban. This is not a fringe cause. When we talk about common sense gun laws, it's common sense because this is common. This is what a majority of Americans want, and this is what needs to happen. So to have the opportunity to forward that dialogue and hopefully not just change perspectives, but get a majority of people's perspective recognized and turned into law, that's what we're trying to do.
And you actually spoke. What was that like in front of those crowds?
Well, we didn't have a lot of time. We spent a lot of our time thanking the volunteers, because there's a tremendous number of people that came, both adults and children from throughout the community. So it was definitely a rush to be in front of 50,000 people, but was great to have the opportunity to thank these people that came out of the woodwork. They hit us up on Facebook. These are not people we knew that felt either personally touched by gun violence or by this issue. So it was great to have the opportunity to thank them for getting involved too.
All right. Well, we appreciate having the opportunity to speak with you today, Edward. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.